Thanks so much for talking with us today, Dave.
No problem. Glad to help.
Great. So we're just starting with the new spring series and we're getting into preseason. So can you give us your reflections and thoughts on the last season?
Yeah, a little bit mixed, to be honest. I thought there were some absolutely fantastic parts, and then other parts where we probably just didn't kick on to the extent that we wanted to. You know, there's little bits. So I think we had about a 7-game unbeaten run at one point, and then followed by 1 or 2 poor performances, and so a little bit mixed. But I guess overall, really positive. Massive change in culture, in atmosphere, in expectation, and that showed itself in results. Maybe not quite as often as we wanted to, but certainly something to build on and to move forward to this coming season.
Great. And what do you think of the change to the winter schedule?
It's going to be really interesting to see how it works out. I think long term, it's where the game should be played. For everything, to be honest, for scheduling, for the international players to do the best they can for their international sides, for the game itself, and certainly for any of the teams involved in Champions League. To fit the season around Champions League is a must for if the English teams are going to do well in Champions League. So I think there will be teething problems initially in terms of sides with pitch access and things like that. We're really fortunate here at Bees that we've got an amazing first team pitch to play on, and we'll have no issues whatsoever. But I know other teams may struggle initially, but I think in the long run it's where and when the game should be played, and I think the game will improve as a result of that.
And what do you think of the spring series schedule and the fixtures?
Yeah, I think the way it's set up, it's the best thing that we could do. We couldn't have 6 to 8 months where we weren't playing football, so it's never going to be easy switching from a summer to a winter season. And I think this spring series is going to be it's going to be different. It's going to be something that I'm sure teams may approach differently. So it'll be interesting to see how each team does approach it. But we just need to be playing football, and the fact that we're playing in about 4 weeks from now is much better than saying we're not playing until August next year. So we'll make the best of it. The girls are excited to be in and preparing for games from early February. And we just hope we can hit the ground running and make the best of it. And what other teams do, that's down to them.
And what do you think of your first FA Cup opponent, the Millwall Lionesses?
Yeah, a little bit frustrating to draw and to be one of the 2 WSL 2 teams drawn against each other. But if you want to do well in a cup, you've got to beat everybody, or you've got to beat the better teams at certain times. We had 2 really tough games with Millwall last year. Drew one, won the other. So it's going to be a tough game. But there's not many rounds left in the FA Cup. You know, we're fortunate enough to be coming in the 3rd round. You win 4 or 5 games and you're in a semi-final and a final. So even if we hadn't drawn a WSL 2 team, I'm sure the game would be tough. Some of the teams have already played 3 or 4 games to get to this level. So no easy games. It will be a very tough game for us, first game back in. But if we want to do well this year, then we have to be beating Millwall. So that will be the target, that will be the aim, and we just need to be as best prepared as we can come the 5th of February.
And how is preseason going?
It's not been going long. We came back, we officially came back into training last week, which was a little bit cut short with the snow that we had towards the end of the week, and 1 or 2 players struggled to get in for Thursday's session. But the players have been given a programme to work with over Christmas, and they came back in pretty good shape last week. So it's now a case of last week and this week is really, we've got a number of trialists in, so it's very much a case of getting the legs moving again, checking that we have done what we were meant to have done over the off-season, making final squad decisions, hopefully by the end of this week as much of that will be done as possible, and that will leave us a good fortnight to really prepare for that first game with the squad that we're looking to move forward with. So it'll be a short initial pre-season, but the spring series gives us a little bit of leeway to really use that to prepare for the new 17-18 season.
And can you tease any new signings for us?
Not really. As I said, we've got probably 6 or 7 trialists in, 1 or 2 from WSL. There's 1 or 2 potential loan players from WSL 1 clubs, and there's also the slight possibility of 1 or 2, or certainly 1 overseas player coming in, which if we can work that out, should be a really strong addition. But we've also got 1 or 2 young players who were given an initial opportunity towards the end of last season, and they've really sort of stepped up to that opportunity, and they'll be in with a chance as well this year. So it's very much a case of some key core players from last year, some other WSL 2 players, 1 or 2 loan players from WSL 1, or even WSL 1 players looking to get more guaranteed game time, as well as some of the good youth players that we've got coming in.
Speaking of youth players, can you talk about the England Youth Internationals that are on the London Bees roster?
Yeah, we're fortunate to have a couple. Evie Clark is away next week, I believe. She's come in and she did really well. Came in mid-season last year, slotted straight in, did very, very well for us. Hannah Lalani, very good young player, scored lots of goals in the development squad for last year, and also made her first team debut. And there's also 2 or 3 others who I probably can't say a little too much about at the moment, but safe to say that we could be up to probably 3, 4, 5 youth internationals by the time we start the spring series.
And what are your expectations for the spring series?
Yeah, that's a difficult one to answer. We will look to improve. So we improved last year. We've set all sorts of little records last year in terms of consecutive games won, clean sheets, goals scored, points accrued. So we made lots of little. We reached lots of benchmarks last year. The spring series is very much a case of looking to build on that. So we will look to improve. We want to improve our league position. We want to continue playing the way that we want to play. But with a few new players coming in, we understand there'll be a little bit of bedding in for that to happen. And the spring series is a very short series. It's a bit difficult to answer that because it's such a short time frame. We only play each other once. We will look to improve. Last year we reached all sorts of benchmarks in terms of consecutive wins, goals scored, clean sheets, all sorts of things like that, which is fantastic, and it's something we need to build on in the spring series. So we will look to improve on that. We want to improve our league position, but at the same time we understand bringing new players in, and with such a short time frame, it'll be difficult to do that guaranteed. So we just need to make sure that, as we did last year, that we're looking to improve week on week. Our performances need to improve both individually and as a squad. And if we can do that through the spring series, obviously the focus very much is on the 17-18 season. We want to be right up there. We showed this year that we can compete with the top teams in the league. So we beat Yeovil. We're very competitive with everybody, and even beating Chelsea in the Continental Cup. They're the type of teams that we want to be playing week in, week out, and to do that you've got to be in WSL 1. So the target very much for 17-18 is to be competing at the top end of the league, and to do that we need to set the precedent for that in the spring series. So we want to be as competitive as possible, and making sure that we're improving week on week.
Great, thank you so much.
Not a problem. Thank you.